I'm Alex Billingham. I'm resident artist here at New Art Gallery Walsall and have been for 2 or 3 months now. I'm also twinned with a beautiful artist in Karachi at IBS, Layla, who's also looking at trans joy and sort of having interactions between the two of us. It's really lovely to sort of see how they're approaching it with all of the cultural baggage and history that they have, and how I'm approaching it with mine as well. How many differences there are, but also how, even though we have very different sort of backgrounds, there are lots of areas of overlap, which I think is really beautiful and says a lot about how universal the trans experience is. The very early phase was to be doing lots of physical, practical experiments and making sculptures. So every time I left, there was something new. Mainly so that the front of house staff didn't get bored sort of walking past every day. It then moved on to the secondary phase, which was using those sculptures and those experiments to inform how the project was kind of going forwards, and beginning to map out a kind of template that I thought I could place the work on top of. So very briefly, I very quickly identified the lunar cycle of 13 lunar months as a very good template for putting the work on top of and using as a sort of allegory for trans experiences, because the moon tends to crop up a lot in sort of queer live art especially. And also by having 13 moons, I was able to map on the 26 transuranic elements onto each moon. So it felt like quite a natural fit. So practically kind of using the early experiments to inform both the costumes and the ideas and the physical performances, which have then sort of been mapped on to digital collages, which I've got 6 of behind me, so I'm sort of building those up as I go, which includes some of the sculptural elements and some of the performative elements. And it was only while I was doing it I realised one of the earlier phases and one of the earlier thoughts of the project was that I really wanted to build up a kind of trans iconography, because certainly working with the collections here, it's come up again and again that there isn't a smoking gun of transness necessarily with certain artefacts, and I wanted to absolutely categorically, no, these are definitely trans iconography, they are trans imagery, and hopefully in future years they'll be plundered by other trans people going, yep, this is trans heritage and it definitely exists. So my personal title for the project was Transuranic Elements. This was pulled from a Sapphire and Steel kind of quote, but it's there are these I think 26 elements within the periodic table which are unstable and manufactured and artificial, and I thought there was some quite nice links with the trans experience and certainly how trans people are viewed, which I kind of wanted to map onto the work and use as an initial starting point. So in February there's a showing of work in progress, or sort of where we're up to at IBS in Karachi, which is super exciting and wonderful, and getting to share some space with Layla, which will be lovely. For that stage I'm quite wanting to get the 13 digital collages done and sent over along with the attached sort of films, and finding a way of displaying those that works for everybody. The idea being they're kind of like 13 quite short films that attach to these ideas. So that's the first phase of it for me. And then the second phase, there'll be an exhibition here in New Art Gallery Walsall on the 4th floor in, I think, January or February 2024. Which is super exciting, and again both artists, so again it would be really lovely to share space with Layla here, and my plan for that is to use the intervening time to because this has kind of been the studio shooting time, so actually spending the year going out and getting location footage and opening it up from just kind of my experience to being a bit wider. And using the 13 individual films to kind of make sort of larger feature film, which combines all of the elements, and then some kind of physical way of displaying that in the gallery, which I don't need to worry about right now. In regard to the film and the kind of performative elements, almost all of the characters have my face obscured, which was kind of a very deliberate choice to take the meanness out of the film, because I think sometimes, especially when you're a live artist, it can feel very egocentric and very, look at me. And I kind of wanted to make space for other people's trans and queer joy to kind of exist within it. So yeah, this section's taken me a lot out of it. I will be doing a few things, especially with the second phase, that put a lot more personalness and open it up to other trans personal experiences. Yeah.